Ever record the perfect intro only to lose it seconds later? Well, that was the story of one of my viewers. Mariposa said this one's for you. She tried Riverside FM and watched her hard work, freshly edited intro vanish. And that's what got me thinking. What if there's a platform made for people who just want to hit record and post and not deal with the tech chaos? Well, that's where Podcastle comes in. It claims to be the podcasting made simple tool. You can record, edit, publish all in one. But is it actually beginner friendly, or is simple just another marketing word? Hey, it's Caitlin, and welcome to GBRLIFE Reviews, where I test the tools, apps, and platforms so you don't waste your time or your money. Now let's find out about Podcastle right after my quick intro while you like and subscribe, or skip ahead with the chapters.
Welcome to GBRLIFE. We'll talk big love, everything in the mix. So bring your bold, your bright, your home now, babe. This is GBRLIFE.
When I read Mariposa's comment under my Riverside FM review, I felt the pain immediately. Because losing anything is a kind of heartbreak that creators, you all understand. But there is a simplicity that does take front seat with Podcastle. And this one isn't mentioned often because it is a very beginner-friendly option. And I'll be honest, it can get boring a little bit faster than others, but it is more reliable. And the frustration of trying to figure out how things should work simply aren't as common here. And frankly, all tools should be easy to use unless it's clearly for advanced users only. So Photoshop has a pass, because, that's incredibly difficult. But some of these other tools, and speaking directly to all other tools, if you want people to use what you've made, make UI testing a bigger part of your process, because I think that's what's going on. But speaking of processes, the Podcastle process of recording to editing is pretty simple. So here, let me show you what I mean so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Podcastle. It's completely web-based, which already gives points for accessibility. There's no downloads or setup nightmares or anything like that. And the dashboard is basic, but it tells you what you need to know. In other words, you've got clear options. Record, edit again for video or audio. And then you have all of those AI tools that are right in front of you and your recent projects. So basically, it's for beginners seeing exactly what they want and need right in front of them. So let's get into immediately what I liked here. First and foremost, you see everything in front of you. And these AI tools, it gets a little bit better. Right here, when you click on Create, you see Enhance with AI. So you also have magic dust, auto leveling, noise reduction, silence removal, AI video enhance, background removal, cinematic blur, and eye contact. Are these something that you don't see other places? No, you're going to see this everywhere, but it has it. And that's the whole point. I like that they truly are set up to be a one-stop shop for basics and including the fun parts of AI that other tools are having. And so that's one of my favorite parts automatically. And then because it's web-based, it has solid recording and sound as long as you are using good equipment and you have good internet connection. And then you also get a little bit of a trial period with all of this. Really, it's just you can create about one video or one audio just to get the hang of it. And then that's pretty much all you get to do. Then you have to pay for it. But that's nice that you do get a chance to try this out and see if you actually like it. The other thing that I liked here is that it autosaves. So let's go inside of one of the projects to edit so you can kind of get an idea. Now, there's no video here, but you would normally see right over here a timeline, and it allows you to do basic editing right on that. So that's nice. But the other thing is that you have your files, your visuals, and stock too. So this is all the stock options. Not many and not amazing, but there are a few. You have your audio and your sound effects, AI voices, text, so your captions, your transitions, not much, but transitions, subtitles, background, and your brand kit. Here's the best part about all of this. You can add all of this right here and do all that fun stuff on your first video that you're creating. Or if you were to go over to projects, you can see them right there, things that are shared with you in your archive, your recordings, your recording planner. So you can actually put this with your Google Calendar when you're inviting other people to work with you. But here's that brand kit. So you can do all of that right here and get all of that done and then go over to that project, or you can do it just inside of your project. It's up to you, but all of the information will be in both places. So essentially, everything that you do is found in multiple locations, which is great because you're not sitting there trying to hunt down, where was this? Where did I put this? How do I click that? How do I fix that setting? No. It's in the projects and it automatically saves to everything. And of course, because you're pressing studios, you can add that guest or producer and give them the link, like I was saying, for anyone else to join the very recording that you're doing. So if you're doing interviews, you can still do that easily here. You can add your shows here and get that sent out. And then you have your AI voices. So you can do cloning if you really want to do something like that. And going back over to this, I also want you to see that you have aspect ratios that you can change. This is the video section and how close you're seeing your video, which makes a big difference, believe me, when you're editing. I'm sure any of you would agree when you're editing and you're used to that. Select, you can do it with the arrow or the hand. You can convert text to speech, and you can upload all within the project. The other option is your audio editing. And what I like about it is you have text that you can add and you can have it automatically use that AI voice, or you can go over to audio and add multiple tracks, music, AI voices again, your sound effects, and your brand kit. Why is this good? Because it's a little different for what you're editing and you're not in any way distracted by the things you don't need within that area. It's saying this is what you need for an audio only podcast, and they make it simple for you to get to it and utilize it. But let's be real. This is not all sunshine and rainbows like I always say. So what do I not like? Well, it's limited. This is all it really does. I mean, so you can create and you have these types of things here. You can edit and you can, send it out to other people. But that's basically all this does. It is an all-in-one tool. You don't really need to go anywhere else for anything else. But, it's not everyone's favorite when it comes to customization. What else can you do? Even within the tool itself, going back over transitions, it's from here to here. That's the extent of all of your transitions. If you get sick and tired of these transitions, you don't have any other options. This is your option. This is what you're doing. So I don't like that. But, if you're not looking for too much, it may not be so bad either. It really just depends on what you're looking for and how complex you're going to make it. The other thing I don't really love is the storage. So over here, you can see that I'm on the Pro plan and I only have, it says 100% because I haven't used any storage really. But you have a certain amount of storage per plan and it's not very big. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and go into pricing because that's not something I'm a big fan of with this, but it is a good little transition into that pricing for all of you who might be interested in how much does all of this actually cost. And I already said it's one of my cons. Okay, so here's the pricing. You can pay $12, $24, or $40 a year. So in other words, $143.90. So $144, $288 or $480 a year if you go for any of the paid plans. And within that, you get on the essentials, 2 hours of recording audio and video, multi-track audio and video, 2 hours of transcription, 10K characters text to speech, high-res audio and video downloads, and 5 gigabytes of cloud storage. That's not a lot at all if you're paying $12 a month. Again, that's yearly, so you're actually paying $144 a year, and you only get 5 gigabytes of cloud storage. I feel like that's very little for a lot more than you get my point. It doesn't really correlate. And then you have your Pro and you get 120 gigabytes of cloud storage. But if I'm paying almost $300 a year, let's be real, because taxes if you're in the United States, that's quite a lot of money to spend and you're only getting 120 gigabytes. So the cloud storage just isn't there for me. But you can always add this to your computer. So I'd say just delete what you have if you already have it on your computer. Get an external hard drive to save your computer storage as well. And make it so that you're not really having to use the cloud. So that is a way to get out of it. Everything else is okay. Unlimited audio recording, 20 hours of video recording, multi-track audio and video, 25 hours of transcription, 500K characters, text-to-speech, and of course, you're going to get the high-resolution audio and videos. And then for business, pretty much everything else, but like 2 times as much. And now here's the issue that I have is the monthly. So most people are not going to choose the yearly plan, but if you do, that's the way to go. The monthly plan is $20 a month for the essentials, but Pro goes up to $40. And so to me, automatically no. Either you're paying yearly for a normal price, or you're paying way too much for the Pro and getting decent stuff, not great stuff. Or you go for business. But that's my opinion on the price side of things. Of course, to some people, this may not be so bad because you do get to do everything all in one place. But I do want to say there is another solution here that you might be interested in, and that's Descript. I have reviewed Descript before, but it was before they had as much AI involved. Right in front of you is Underlord. They had that before, but again, not as extreme, not as integrated. And now you can see they actually make it, you can add video, audio, image, or PDF files directly and then say exactly what you need. They have templates, so you can also click on that template and immediately go into it. But you can say, and something I do for my true crime podcast is say, remove retakes and add my audio file immediately. And if I go to my latest, you'll actually see this transcribed it for me. It's not perfect. As a matter of fact, it's way less accurate than I'd like, but it gets the idea of what I said. And I can just click on remove retakes. It'll find all of the retakes for me. And I go through it and say, yeah, that was a retake. Or no, I want to keep that in. It sounds good. I can shorten word gaps so that it doesn't sound like I paused for 10 years. Or clarity too. And that's really great, but you don't have to remove something. It goes through it for you to determine what you might want to remove, and then you select as you go. So that's one thing that's really nice about Descript is that it's written word, so you can see it for yourself. If you're reading an essay or a book, you can tell if something makes sense. What's going to be the same thing in what you're listening to? So this is an amazing audio option. For video, it's also really, really good as well. And you can still talk to it like it's a chat using Underlord itself, or you can go over to AI tools and select it from there. And Descript also has your captions, your media options, those elements, and different things that you can do within it, including even they will create clips for you to add into it, that AI clip. If you're doing a podcast and you want to make it into a video, you can do that. I wouldn't suggest that it's not that great, but it's way better than a lot of other tools out there. And the way I look at it is, for anybody doing any of this kind of stuff, and you want it to be very simple, I would say Podcastle feels like the right vibe for recording, and Descript could be a perfect next step for editing. So getting back to Podcastle, big question, is it worth it? If you are a creator looking for a simple solution to getting your content created and you don't want to deal with the chaos of going to multiple locations to make it happen, Podcastle can be your one-stop shop. And if you're a creator looking for something fantastic and full of fun tools and creativity, skip this. Immediately skip this. But that's why I'm going to give Podcastle the GBRLIFE rating of a 3 out of 5. It's perfect for your first podcast, truly, because it's, simple and understandable and there's no clutter. It's very basic. This is what you do and this is what you do next. But once you get over that learning curve of creation, I would absolutely suggest going to other tools that give you more customization and expanding to many tools once you feel confident in your flow. So, Mariposa, I hope this finds you and that you find your groove again from Podcastle, if this is one of the things that you decide to use. Use whatever you prefer. And if you find a tool that you find really simple and easy, let me know. And I'll also review it for everyone else who watches as well. I also did want to say a huge thank you to Rohan Dante, who dropped a list of browsers for me to test out next. Here's the good news. We do have Brave, Arc, and Zen browser already reviewed. So if you're interested in those, you can find those in the link below, and a lot of other reviews on the GBRLIFE Reviews Unfiltered Opinions playlist. And with a new review every week, you have plenty to choose from. But with the new list, Rohan, Thank you again. We're going to start with Vivaldi next. So if you have something else to review, please let me know in the comments below. It might just end up on next week's list. And that's going to be it for this week. But don't worry, you can still get more because with all of my content on GBRLIFE.com and my fabulous Mama Koala clothing line, you don't have to be without GBRLIFE in your life. Now go watch some more GBRLIFE reviews, and I'll see you in the next one.
Not a bit less.